Hi, my name is Tori Shendel Cox, and I am the Virginia G. Schrader Curator of Art at the Evansville Museum. And today we have a wonderful program for our viewers. It is our privilege of the art department to introduce our intern, Suad, who did amazing research, amazing work, and taught us a great deal about two very significant pieces in our permanent collection. Suad, thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you so much. So, hello everyone. My name is Suad Alharrasi, and I am a senior archaeology major at the University of Evansville. So, I am honored to do this research with the Evansville Museum and with Tori as well.
Great. And I will go to our first piece.
So I would like to thank the donor of the pieces that I did research about the calligraphy or Islamic inscription. So it's Elizabeth Zutt, who's called Betty. She obtained a degree in Columbia University in library science and worked in the Evansville Public Library for 30 years. She traveled a lot, got a lot of astonishing pieces of calligraphies and artifacts and brought them to the Evansville Museum and shared them with the Evansville community. She had a lot of unique artifacts, objects, and everything. So I would like, because without her calligraphies, I wouldn't be today sharing my experience.
And Betty Zitt was just an amazing person, not only to the Evansville community, but she gave back so much. So while she did travel and live a very unique life, she was a long-term museum member. She even worked in our gift shop, and she definitely dedicated herself to the community and also created traveling stipends that students still get to enjoy at the University of Southern Indiana. So she's an amazing woman. I'm glad that this woman brought us together too.
So, to begin with the Arabic, I will begin with the Arabic language. So, the Arabic language showed a rapid growth during the 7th century BCE, which is during the Umayyad dynasty. Because in this period, the Umayyad dynasty established a military conquest from the east to the west, east that covered China, the borders of China to be more specific, and the west that covered North Africa and Spain. So we see a lot of Islamic influence on these regions and everywhere. And during also that period, the government language of the Umayyad dynasty was Arabic. So they made sure that everyone speak Arabic to just fit in um, with their empire or with their government and everything. So we see many countries has adopted the Arabic language, but adopted the Arabic alphabets, like we see in Iran, and which they have a lot of Arabic language, Arabic written calligraphy. It's not in Arabic actually; it's Persian, but they adopted the alphabets. We see a lot of similar alphabets, even in Central Asia, in Afghanistan and Pakistan. We see a lot, like in Urdu, we see a lot of adoption and the influence of Arabic transcripts there. This takes us to the calligraphy, which the calligraphy is considered one of the main characteristic of Islamic art. So we see, because it's related to the Quranic script, that's why a lot of people try to be more innovative in representing the Quranic scripts in a beautiful way, in a way that it shows its meaning, to show its beauty, because it's the words of the God. So they make sure to do that. Um, However, there is no clear script in the Quran that says that the living things is forbidden to be represented, but just the people, just to stay safe, they avoided to represent the Quranic script in the living things. They just wanted to show it in a flower way, floral and architecture. So just to say on the safe side. This takes us to one of the astonishing calligraphy that Elizabeth donated to the Evansville Museum, which is this one on the top, which is the lion calligraphy. In this lion calligraphy, it's written Ali ibn Abi Talib, karamallahu wajhah, which translated is Ali, the son of Talib, who is the cousin of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad as well. So he was represented in this way because since it's a name and it's not a Quranic script, he was represented in a lion shaped, and it also has a symbolic meaning. It doesn't mean that he is a lion or everything, but he was known as the lion of the god. So representing him in this way and showing his name in this way gives him power because he was known as the lion of the god, especially in the Shia, which is a branch of the Islamic, one of the branch of Islam. So what is interesting about that we saw the same calligraphy in the David collection on the museum in the Denmark, which if we take a close look about those two calligraphies, it's really looks the same. The wording, the tails, everything looks the same. Even how the shape of the words and the calligraphy looks the same. However, this calligraphy in the bottom is from Turkey, and on the top there is on the back left bow of the lion, there is something wrote Turan. When I researched about Turan, what I found interesting that it was said to be a historical country in the northern Iran, which is in the Central Asia part nowadays, which is I feel like Afghanistan and Pakistan, in that region. So I thought it would be from that part of the country. However, the Turan is also known as a last name in many different countries, like in Iran, in Turkey, in many different countries. So it represents the last name. So it could be a signature from someone who wanted to sign, who is from one of those regions, actually. So yeah, it remains a mystery, but it's really interesting and exciting.
Out of curiosity, in your opinion, do you think this little teardrop looking thing that looks like it might have some calligraphy, do you think that could possibly be a signature as well? Or what do you think this is right here?
Yeah, it could be a signature because, I don't know if there's something written. It's not that clear, but it could be a signature for the calligrapher who wanted to represent himself.
Mhm.
But that's pretty interesting, yeah.
And it's still fascinating, as you said, that it was just such an iconic symbol that it was being reciprocated in other geographical locations to a degree. But as you know, they're just eidetic when it comes to the technique and the quality and how that script is written. Although the coloring is different, but it's just remarkable to see what we have here.
Exact same wording and the position of the words and everything, it's exactly the same. So that's really pretty amazing. Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit more about that connection of why the lion symbol was chosen to represent?
Yes, sure. So the lion symbol was because Ali ibn Abi Talib, who who was the son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad, was known as a lion of the god to many people, to some branches of Islam. So he was represented like this. He is an important figure to the Muslims, but especially to the Shia, because they believe that after Prophet Muhammad died, Ali ibn Abi Talib was the successor of him. So they had this belief, but the other branches of Islam didn't believe that. They believed that when Prophet Muhammad died, no one came after him, or Abu Bakr Siddiq came after him. So there's this theory. That's why he was represented in this way, in this unique way, because to represent that he is the line of the God and to show connection, how powerful he is. And yeah,
That's beautiful.
it is. Yeah.
It
Uh,
didn't mean to jump the slide there, but surprise.
Yay. So this takes us to the other calligraphy, which is the Sailboat. This calligraphy was donated by Betty as well, and it's really amazing. There's a lot of stories happened here, and to me, and when trying to break down this calligraphy. So to begin with, this calligraphy especially is written in Uyghur, which is in Shenzhen province in China. So those are people, minority people, Muslim people in China. So they live there. So this, I didn't know that this language was Uyghur until I tried to translate this part of the bottom part of the script or the calligraphy, and tried to see what does it mean. And I thought it's Persian at first, and wrote a complete research that it's Persian and everything. But unfortunately, when I tried to translate it, it wasn't Persian, and it was a surprise. But with the help of many friends, we tried to figure out what language is it. It took us hours to look at those, to break down and see what language is that specifically. It was really fun to look. So I came to that it's Uyghur. So in this part of calligraphy, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of stories going on inside this calligraphy. So the first flag on the right, on the top here, just to be right, I will read it. It's translated to be give good tidings to the believers, help from Allah and victory near at hand. So it's a Quranic script that's been rewarded, because the real Quranic script that is in Quran says, and another favor will he bestow, help from Allah and speedy victory. So give the glad tidings to the believers. So there's some wordings difference and this flag. So it could take us to the same meaning, that we should have faith to the God and be patient in everything, because the victory will come soon. So it has the same meaning, but that's interesting that they rewarded this script instead of writing it in a specific way. And on the middle one is a Shahada, or Muslim creed, which any Muslim who wants to convert to Islam has to say this. It's the declaration of belief that Allah is the only God, and Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. So we were taught this a lot, and for completely our whole life, and it's considered one of the important things for any Muslim to say that. And the third flag over there has to say it's the name of Allah. So it's the name of the God. What is impressive that on those two sails there is the right one has one of the fourth of the 99 name of Allah, which is the King, or the one and only, which is astonishing and everything. And the other thing that says it's a Quranic script that وفتحنا لك فتحا إن فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا, which translated, we have ordained for you the conquest of Mecca and other places in the future as a result for your struggle, a clear victory, one that is clear and manifest. So this tells us a story of Prophet Muhammad when he went to Mecca with his companion to pray where the Kaaba and everything. But the people who lived there didn't accept them to go inside and try to stop them from going inside. So Prophet Muhammad and the companions were very sad because they couldn't do that, and so the God had this to make them calm down and say, it's fine, everything going to be okay. And one day you will be able to go whenever you want and no one will stop you. Whenever you want, no one will stop you. So, and yeah, and the open of, and it's mentioned that that in this part of the story, Prophet Muhammad and Quraysh had a piece called Al-Hudaybiyah, which is one of the most known peaceful talking. So because of this peaceful talk and everything, many people converted to Islam and many people entered to Islam, which shows us the idea of how the invasion of Islam or the conquest of Islam that took place in the Umayyad period, that spread all around the world, and one day it will be the same. So to relate those two calligraphies together, both on the body of the boat and both calligraphies has the name of the seven sleepers. I didn't know about the first one, the one from the Evansville Museum before, but when I looked at the Met Museum of Art, the calligraphic galleon, it says that it represents the seven sleepers, which is a story in Quran, a tale or Quranic story, and in pre-Islamic Christian story that is well known. It's a story of seven men, young men in their youth who are noble and lived in a good life, actually. They believed that the God is the only one and started thinking, but because of the persecution of their people on their village or city, they decided to flee away and go somewhere else to be safe, so they couldn't just transform or be influenced by them. So they decided to flee away. So there are seven people went on a cave with their dog, went on a cave and decided to stay the night over there. So when they stayed the night over there, they slept for centuries. When they woke up and went out, everything changed. Everything was different generations, different people, different money, different a lot of stuff. And they were surprised about what happened to them. And that's so, and they had to ask. So by then, everyone was believing that the God is one and only, and they told them the story that they thought that they were dead because no one found them and everything. So this piece of calligraphy has a symbolic actually meaning. It doesn't mean literally about something specific in Quran or anything, but has a symbolic meaning, which is mostly of the Islamic calligraphy. Most of them has a symbolic meaning instead of a specific meaning in Quran. So since the Uyghurs are minority in China, there is a lot of in the news, in the CNN, BBC news that they are suffering from being tortured by the Chinese government because of their Islamic practice. There is a record that says about 1 million of the Uyghurs were taken to re-education camps. That they are retaught and try to make them brainwashed and everything so they could forget about Islam and everything. So they're not allowed to practice their normal religion, things that they should do, like fasting, praying, and everything. And it's really problematic because this just a small human right that to practice their religion, whatever they want to do, is not they're not allowed to do that, which is really difficult, and no one could imagine what they're suffering and everything. So I could say, in my opinion, that it's a way for them to show their suffrage from what's happening, and it's a way for them to show them that how to calm themselves down, because each of those stories has a moral that just have faith on the God and trust him and everything, and then you will be survive, you'll be helped and everything. Just have a good intentions and trust in God's and the God. So that could be the main reason of this calligraphy. Also, it could be a way for them to say that one day the victory will come to them. Someone will help them. Islam will be powerful as before, and they will have the freedom to practice what they're doing. So that's really amazing. That's really amazing. So those two pieces are different pieces. The bottom one is from Turkey, so it could be a way to show the invasion or the conquest of the Islamic culture during that. And the top one is from the Uyghur, but however, I don't know which Uyghur were there specifically, because there's some population in um, Afghanistan who speak this language. So that remains a mystery, and we don't know who, from where exactly. But it could be a way from them to represent their suffrage, and it could be from the Uyghurs. Yeah.
I think it's absolutely fascinating because that middle flag in particular is the declaration that you would say for conversion. And that's how they got to that geographical location to begin with. And as you noted, because they are experiencing this time of turmoil, that could be a representation of the sleeping, sleep through and hopefully things will get better, as you noted. But then I think it's interesting too that this mass of Quranic script was a gift to Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, that you will be able to visit Mecca someday. You will be able to be yourself. You will be able to practice what you believe. Here is your gift to solidify that. So I think what you found out and discovered is absolutely not only brilliant, but it just makes sense that it has that social justice component, especially in a modern setting. And I'm really appreciative that you were able to find that and share that with us, because it brings a whole new meaning to this calligraphy work. Because as I said at the beginning, we didn't know much about these pieces, the lion or the sailboat. We just knew it was really from Betty Zutt. We knew that it just wasn't English, what script, who knew, question mark. And we really didn't have an idea of what this is. And by you giving your resources and time to really unlock and unleash these pieces, there's so many layers of interpretive text here that is applicable today. And it's just, I'm glad that art was able to serve as a healing tool or as a tool to lower anxiety, as you said too. And I'm really appreciative that you were able to share that with us and teach us this.
Thank you.
And then, so Suad, is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers today?
I would thank the Evansville Museum, and especially you, Tari, for giving me this opportunity to represent my own culture, my Islamic culture, to the Evansville community. since, yeah, no one knew about those calligraphies and didn't know more about it. So sharing my information and my point of view was really helpful, because this research not just helped the museum, but it helped me develop. I knew a lot of things that I didn't know before about the Islamic art and Islamic calligraphy, which is really amazing and astonishing and everything. And I would like to thank the Archaeology Department, the University of Evansville, for helping me, giving this opportunity. Without them, I wouldn't be now with you and talking about my research and do all of this. And I would thank all of my friends for the support that they gave me during doing this research, because it was stressful a little bit, but it's worth every moment that I spend on this research, because it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
Suad, I cannot thank you enough for your time, your dedication, and then the community that you built, trying to figure out what these pieces are, and then diving into your community more to teach us through your cultural lens more about what was in our permanent collection. So we are very grateful. I want to thank you on behalf of the art department. Definitely don't be a stranger, but we want to just make sure to thank you again. And this is an Evansville Museum's Art History and Science recording, and bye for now.